Traya Vibhaga Yoga. Shraddha is the faith, Traya means three, Vibhaga is the division. Because you remember in the end of the last chapter, Arjun said, one who acts under the influence of desires, disobeying scriptural injunctions, neither attains perfection, nor happiness, nor the abode of a supreme abode. This is Lord Krishna said. But before that, there was a
see, you know why do you have a lot of water?
Yeah. That,
because of on the top of the gutter, you know, the wood coming.
Yeah, the sea,
it's open there.
The flash is bad.
So Lord Krishna is saying, sorry about that, guys. There's a conversation going behind me.
Okay. Close this now.
Hershji, this is Raj. What
Yes,
chapter
Raj.
are we going to do?
We're going to start with chapter 17 today.
Okay.
17.
We're going to just, 17, very short chapter. That's what I was saying, that we might be done early today. And then next week, we'll finish up with chapter 18. That is the very long chapter. It will take full hour. And a week after that, we're going to combine the second and the third class. So this class will be starting at 10:30. So 10:30 to 11:30 we'll hold the class. And we'll finish up this Rupa Pai's book and then continue with the Gita. We'll see what kind of interest you guys have. But we'll have 1 hour of Bhagavad Gita every Saturday, just like we do it Sunday also. Okay. So Lord Krishna says, let the scriptures be your guide in determining what should be done and what should not be done. You should perform your duty following scriptural injunction. So he's emphasizing the teachings of the scriptures quite a bit. So our decisions should be made according to the scriptures. But if we never study scriptures, if we don't even understand scriptures, or we did not get a chance to study the scriptures, what should we do? So that's why Arjuna makes a point over here. He asks a question in this chapter, the very first verse. He says, what is the mode of devotion of those who perform spiritual practices with faith, but without following the scriptural injunctions? O Krishna, is it in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance? Okay. So he says devotion is there, but knowledge of the scriptures is not there. Is it sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic? Okay. And majority of the people are like that. They do have a devotion. They do have a love for God, but knowledge is not there. So that's why Lord Krishna says in the second verse, the natural faith or embodied beings is of 3 kinds. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Just saying that I have a devotion is not enough. We got to see what is the color of our devotion. He says, now hear about these from me. He says, O Arjun, the faith of each is in accordance with one's own natural disposition. That is governed by latent karmic impressions, sanskaras. One is known by one's faith. One can become whatever one wants to be if she or he constantly contemplates or visualizes the object of burning desire with the deep faith in God. So over here he is basically saying our faith is according to our sanskaras. And our faith can be rajasic, tamasic, or sattvic. Just having a faith is not enough. What color of faith we have? Then he says persons in the mode of goodness, so that means sattvic, worship celestial controllers. Those are the devtas. Those in the mode of passion worship supernatural rulers and demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits, like a black magic. So they do worship, but worship is to hurt somebody, or worship is to overpower somebody. And he says, ignorant persons of demonic nature are those who practice severe austerities without following the prescription of the scriptures, who are full of hypocrisy and egotism, who are impelled by the force of desire and attachment, and who senselessly torture the elements of their body, and also me who dwells within the body. So he's talking about the tamsikta over here. See, austerity we need to do. Tapasya is part of the practice. But how do we do the tapasya? The austerity. If we are hurting our body, he says that's a tamsik tapasya. See, listen to this again. Ignorant persons of demonic nature. You remember in the last chapter, we learned the demonic nature and the divine nature. So ignorant persons of demonic nature are those who practice severe austerities without following the prescription of the scriptures. So scriptures will never say that torture your body, but if you are torturing our body and we think God will be happy, he's calling that a demonic nature and full of hypocrisy and egotism. That means that doing the austerity for your own name and fame. That I am a better practitioner than somebody else. Who are impelled by the force of desire. There's always some kind of a worldly desire behind the austerity and attachment, and who senselessly torture the elements in their body, and also me who dwells within the body. Now in the next verse he talks about three kinds of food. The food preferred by all of us is also of three types. So are the sacrifice, austerity, and charity. See, these are the four things we normally do. As a practitioner, also we eat food. We do this sacrifice. Sacrifice over here means the yajnas, the puja part which we do. Austerity and the charity. He says now here the distinction between them. See, all of these four are divided in three parts: Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. Okay, our prayers also, our austerity also, our food also, and our charity also. He says the foods that promote longevity, virtue, strength, health, happiness, and joy are juicy, smooth, substantial, and nutritious. Persons in the mode of goodness like such foods. So that means we got to use our intellect, the buddhi which God gave us, to see that what I'm eating, is it giving me strength? Is it increasing my virtues? Is it making me healthy, happy, joy? And he says those kind of foods are juicy. They are not dry, overly dry. They should be smooth, substantial. You eat a little and you feel full. So that kind of a food. So we got to look at our age. We got to look at what kind of a work we do. So a sattvic food for a person who's working in the field is different than a sattvic food for a person who's sitting on the chair and working. Okay, but virtue part is there. That virtue part really means nobody need to die to fill my stomach for a sattvic food. Okay, so all of these the details should be kept in mind when we eat. And then what is it? Rajasic food. People in the mode of passion like foods that are very bitter, sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning. And what happens with that? They cause pain, grief, and disease. This is a Rajasic food. Overly spicy. Just 1 second. Priya? Hello? I'm in the class right now. Is everything okay? Okay, you can call dad. Call dad. See, whenever I don't turn my phone off, it rings. So, okay. So people in the mode of passion like foods that are very bitter, sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning. And we can see that just from these characteristics, that these are the food which will make us sick. They are not good to eat. We normally eat these kind of foods just for the taste of it. And he says the people who are Rajasic people, they will like this kind of a food. And the Rajasic food will give us pain, grief, and disease ultimately. And then what is a Tamasic? People in the mode of ignorance like foods that are stale, tasteless, putrid, rotten, refuses, and impure, such as meat and alcohol. So that's a Tamasic food. Okay. So whenever nature is Tamasic, we will like Tamasic food. If our nature is Sattvic, we'll like Sattvic food. And it works the other way around also. If we eat Sattvic food, our nature becomes Sattvic. If we consume Tamasic food, pretty soon our nature becomes Tamasic too. So with that kind of a nature, we like that food. And with that kind of a food, we become like that also. So that's why it's very important to pay attention to what we eat, what we consume. Now, 3 types of sacrifice, the puja. See, the word sacrifice is used. Actually, in Sanskrit, it's called yajna. Yajna means the puja, the worship. So sacrifice enjoined by the scriptures and performed without a desire for the fruit, with a firm belief and conviction that it is my duty, is in the mode of goodness. So in other words, scriptures say it's our duty to worship God. When we worship God without expecting anything in return, thinking that it's my duty to do, that is sattvic. Sacrifice that is performed only for show and aiming for fruit is in the mode of passion, the Rajasic. So that means that we just want others to know that we are worshipping. And we also want some kind of a fruit. We want God to give us something. So there are 2 things in there. In the Sattvic, we do it because it's our duty and there's no fruit in our mind. In Rajasic, we want others to know that we are doing it, plus there's a fruit in our mind too. If that is bad, let's look at what Tamasic is. Sacrifice that is performed without following the scriptures, in which no food is distributed, which is devoid of mantra, faith, and gift, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. So that means that scriptures should be known. Mantra means there should be a name of God, remembrance of God. And distribution means there should be some kind of a detachment with what we think is ours, detach from it. So when we pray, there should be a more and higher level of detachment. So physically, when we feed somebody or physically when we give away a donation, then we are detaching from that. But if we don't do that, he says that's tamasic. Now next is austerity, the top. Austerity is done with our physical body, with our words, and with our mind. It's called kaya, vacha, and manasa. 3 levels of austerity. He says the worship of celestial controllers, offering reverence to good people, the guru, and the wise, purity, honesty, celibacy, and non-violence. These are said to be the austerity of deed. That means with the body, we are performing austerity. Worship of the celestial controllers. That means all these elemental forces, we don't pollute them. Offering reverence to good people. So that means we have to physically do something for those saintly people, the guru. In order to learn from a guru also, we need the physical body to be in the presence. Purity, keeping this physical body pure and physical environment pure. Honesty, celibacy. Celibacy over here really means, see, Sanskrit word for this is brahmacharya. So that means control, full control over our senses. That's what it means. In a modern time, people just reduce the celibacy to just one organ. That no sex is not a celibacy. As a householder, doing your duty, staying in a relationship is okay. That is also you are doing celibacy. But if you are running around, then it's not a celibacy. But it's not only just with your sexual organ, it's all the organs. You have to understand the right import of celibacy word. And non-violence, physically not hurting anybody. So he says austerity of the deed. Then he talks about austerity of the speech. Speech that is non-offensive, truthful, pleasant, beneficial, and is used for the regular reading aloud of scripture is called the austerity of word. God has given us this power to speak. Only human beings have that. So using this speech properly, speaking truthfully, speaking pleasantly, and also speaking beneficially. I'm speaking, is it helping somebody, or am I just wasting my energy? Beneficial. And reading the scriptures aloud, when we recite the mantras, when we sing the arti, that is because what we are doing with our speech is, with the name of the God, with the proper speech, we are cleaning the atmosphere. Okay, the effect of the speech is in the environment. So that's why it's good to speak loudly those mantras. But eventually, internal space also we not need to clean. So we recite it internally too. Austerity of thought includes serenity of mind, gentleness equanimity, self-control, and the purity of thought. So all those exercises which we do to keep our mind serene, have a gentle thoughts, have our mind in equanimity, not just going up and down and controlling ourselves. Those are called austerity of the thought. So austerity of the body, austerity at the level of speech, and austerity at the level of thoughts. The above mentioned threefold austerity of thought, word, and deed, practiced by yogis with supreme faith, without a desire for the fruit, is said to be in the mode of goodness. So all these three, three levels, body, mind, and words, if we do it without desiring any fruit and with faith, then it's a sattvic. So again, the same two conditions, that it is our duty, and plus doing it without any desire. Austerity that is performed for gaining respect, honor, reverence, and for the sake of show, yielding an uncertain and temporary result, is said to be in the mode of passion. So Rajsikta is always when we want to show off. We want to look better than what we are. And Satvik is always, it's our duty to do it and no fruit in our mind. But in the Rajsikta, there's always a fruit in mind. Fruit could be in the name of our own fame or some other kind of a fruit. And Tamasic austerity, austerity performed with foolish stubbornness or with self-torture or for harming others, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. So that means that you are not looking at the result properly. You are hurting yourself, you are hurting others, but you think you are doing the austerity. Okay, so that's why it's so foolish. It's ignorant. Now he talks about charity. Because as human beings, we all been told ever since we were little that we should share. That's what we teach our children, grandchildren, that sharing is good. We are all in it together. So it's good to help others. So charity that is given at the right place and time as a matter of duty to a deserving candidate who does nothing in return is considered to be in the mode of goodness. So that means you are not putting any condition attached. You are not saying that put my name on that wall or on that slab or carve my name over there. You're just doing it because you know that you are supposed to share. But at the same time, you do think about it where the money is going or whatever you are giving. So using your intellect, that's what Lord Krishna is saying. That using the intellect, who is getting your wealth, but then you don't want any fruit for it. You don't want any name and fame for it. That is a sattvic charity. So right place and a time and a matter of duty. Then he says, charity that is given unwillingly or to get something in return or looking for some fruit is said to be in the mode of passion, Rajasic. If we are calculating before we give what kind of a tax benefit we're going to get, that's Rajasic. But if we are giving and we are getting the tax benefit, that's fine. Nothing wrong in it. But what is in your mind? Are you giving with that in mind? So it really, the whole thing is being encoding in your mind. If you are giving, it's your duty, and still you get a tax benefit, that's fine. But you are doing it for a good cause at the right time. But if the motive is that I'm going to get a tax benefit, then it becomes rajasic. Charity that is given at a wrong place and time to unworthy persons, or without paying respect to the receiver, or with ridicule, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. So what is a wrong place, unworthy person, or with the ridicule? Ridicule really means you are giving and comes to you, some church people or some hospital people, they come to you, they need it. You just have a little, you write it because they are insisting it, but you just almost in your mind just want to get rid of them. That's why you are giving. That is with a ridicule. Or later on you gave and you think that you could have gotten away with less. In your mind you think, oh gosh, why did I give that much? Other people did not give that much. Then that also falls in a tamasic category. Now, with all these instructions, do we really know the worthy cause? Our mind we may know, but a worthy cause or the right time we may not know. Are we supposed to just keep on churning about it, keep on investing it? Lord Krishna made a very simple system for us. Some research we can do definitely, but we want our mind to be connected with God. So he says, follow this. He says, Om Tat Sat is the threefold name of Brahma. The Brahmans, the Vedas, and the sacrifices were created by Brahma in the ancient times. So, in other words, he says, utter these three words, Om Tat Sat. So, in other words, remember God with this saying. When you are giving in your mind, utter these three words, Om Tat Sat. Means God. I really apologize for this. We told this guy to do this on the other side, but looks like. I'm sure you cannot hear me, right? With this grinding over here going on, right next to me.
No. we can hear you, but the noise is loud, but we can hear
Yeah,
you.
I know. He stops and then yeah, Mike even told him to just do it on the other part of the house, but looks like he couldn't change his all the equipment which he has over there. So right now he stopped. So let's just do it. So Om Tat Sat, three words. Om means name of God. Tat means that is our goal. Sat means that is the truth. So in other words, we are remembering the God, we are remembering the other goal, the ultimate goal, and we are saying that is the truth. So anytime we give, anytime we eat, anytime we pray, if we keep this in mind, Om Tat Sat, then our worldly desires, all the fluctuations, all the arrogance, it just subsides. So that's what he's saying. Just he has given us a very simple formula over here. So instead of mind going into the world, bring the mind into the God. Om Tat Sat. Okay. So therefore, acts of sacrifice, charity and austerity prescribed in the scriptures are always commenced by uttering any one of the many names of God by the knowers of the Supreme. So it's like a remembering God and doing these acts. The seekers of salvation perform various types of sacrifice, charity and austerity by uttering, He is all, or Tat, without seeking a reward. See, normally we look at the lower rewards, but he says the highest reward is Tat, that, God. So, Om Tat. We want to keep an eye on the ultimate reward, not the worldly rewards. Not that somebody gives us a certificate or writes our name. We want to reach to the ultimate goal by doing what we are supposed to do. Worship we are supposed to do. Charity we are supposed to give. Austerities we must do. And the food we eat all the time to keep this body sustained. So even when we eat also, Om Tat Sat. The word Sat or truth is used in the sense of reality and goodness. The word Sat is also used for an auspicious act, O Arjun. Sat. Faith in sacrifice, charity, and austerity is also called truth. Selfless service for the sake of the Supreme is verily termed as a Sat. Whatever is done without faith, whether it is sacrifice, charity, austerity, or any other act, is useless. It has no value here or hereafter, O Arjun. So in the end, he is summarizing it because Arjun said faith. But he said faith should be in the highest. If the faith is Rajsik, then you are not attaining the highest. But without faith, he says, nothing works. Whether it's a worship or whether it's a charity or austerity or any other act, he says. He says it's useless. It has no value here or hereafter. So that means in this life also, in this worldly existence, in our ordinary actions also, if we don't have a faith, nothing works. Even the medicine, if we need to take, if we don't have a faith in the medicine, they say it will not work. So faith is needed, he says, in this world and even afterwards. But make sure that you have a faith in the right way, the sattvic way. Okay, so this is the end of this chapter. There's a lot of information here, but we need to learn how to dissect the information also, for food also, and for other actions of ours also. So any question, comment? And as I was saying earlier that we'll finish this book, the reading of this simple, just reading it through, chapter 18 next week. And after that, we might go through it a little differently. But first we're going to finish this Rupa Pai's book also. And this class will be, we are moving this class from 11:30 to 10:30. So 10:30 to 11:30, 1 hour we'll have this class. Not next week, but the following week. Next week we're going to do the same what we have been doing for the last 17 weeks. Okay. So any question? Anybody?
Hershey, I have a question about something that's in the comments of the book. It says that whatever a person eats, his or her personal deity eats the same.
Which verse is this?
Sorry, it's page 291, right
291. Okay.
after verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever a person eats, his or her personal deity eats the same. It's the second sentence in the comment.
Whatever a person eats, his or her personal deity eats the same. So deity over really means like when you are, the effect of your eating is not only with you alone. So if you believe in a certain deity, so the effect of that goes there also. So it's just like these kind of sayings are there so that our eating habits get improved. Because we always want to give our deity the best. So in that sense, the scriptures have written. So it's not physically it goes there. So it's just to improve our own eating habits. See, like to a deity, we will never give any prohibited food. And if the deity is living over here in our own body, if we really believe in it, then we will not put something prohibited inside us. So in that sense, okay, it's not literally, it's just philosophically, it's explained. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a while ago you told me that if something is good enough for me to offer at the altar, then I can eat it.
Mhm.
But if it's something bad that I wouldn't offer, then I
Don't eat it.
So
Yeah.
it's the same meaning here.
It's with that kind of a meaning. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So it just improves your eating habits, right?
Yeah.
So that's how because mindlessly people eat. So this way people are thinking it through, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Hersh, good morning.
Yes, Prem.
Is it possible for us to get a little bit more detail on sattvic foods?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We can talk about it more next time around. Or our Sunday class. So we can talk in detail, but right now just understand sattvic food is the one which will keep us healthy. So we need to know our own age, our own condition of the body also.
Okay.
Because very first thing he said, promote longevity, because long life is a good life. We get a chance to do good karmas also and erase the old impressions also. Longevity. So food which will make us have long life. Virtue which cultivate goodness in us. Strength. Health. So diabetic person, sugar is no. So that's why I said it's good to know your own condition of the health also. So it's not a one particular kind of a food. It depends upon the person's age group also, the work they do also, and what kind of a body they have also. Okay, so we got to look at longevity, virtue, strength, health, happiness. What makes you happy? See, certain food we eat, it makes us happy. And then he adds there, juicy, smooth, substantial, and nutritious. So that's how Lord Krishna has explained sattvic food. He did not say, don't eat this or do eat this. He says, these are the kind of a sattvic food. Then you just look at your own daily routine. What kind of a food you eat, and does that give you health and the strength, or are you just eating for the taste, or you have been used to eating and you just out of habit you just keep on eating? Okay, so any particular question, Prem, on that? I mean, if you have it, we can discuss it.
No, just it's good to know what are some of the sattvic foods so that I can kind of add in my dietary.
Okay, to me, I think the eating fruits,
Anji.
but then overripe fruits are not good either.
Yes.
See, some people even say, oh, wine is just a grape juice.
Yeah.
But it's rotten. It does not come under sattvic.
Right.
Right?
Right. Right. Right.
So even the overripe apple sitting on our counter, it's not good if it's like to the point where it's overripe. So we got to use our own judgment.
So it's not really certain kind of foods. It's like
No.
be fresh,
No.
juicy, should be according to our needs. Like you said, if I'm diabetic, I shouldn't eat much fruits.
Yeah.
Because they have sugar too. So it's just a matter of common sense and
common sense. Lot of common sense. See, like for example, milk products are considered sattvic. But if somebody is lactose intolerant, then it's not sattvic for that person.
Yes.
And then milk also, these days there are too many hormones in the milk. So we got to just be careful about that. Right?
Right.
So
right.
effect of the food on our body and on our mind, we should consider when we are looking at whether it's sattvic or not.
Yes.
And the sattvic food, when we overcook it, over fry it, over spice it, then it becomes rajasic. Right? See, just like we have apples, beautiful fresh apples, but we make an apple pie out of it. Eating apple was sattvic, but now made it into a pie which has tons of sugar, tons of fat.
It becomes rajasic.
It becomes rajasic. And when we overeat it, then it becomes tamasic too. The same pie.
Same pie.
Right? Because the quantity matters too.
Right.
So there's a lot of judgment we need to use in eating part, because they say the part of the food sure fills us up and it builds our body. Part of the food, the subtle part of the food, goes into our mind. That's how the mind is linked with the food. And then the very, very rough part, it becomes a mal, which we throw it out. So there are three parts to the food. Okay, the waste matter gets out. The nutrition, the physical nutritious part, it builds our body. And then the subtle part of the food helps our mind. So that's why he added those words over there, the virtue, the happiness, that is at the mental part. So we got to be very careful about what we eat.
Okay. It's helpful too.
Yeah, no, it's a big science behind all this. And the beauty of this is, it was written thousands of years ago, over 5,000 years ago.
Right.
And this science is true today too.
Today also.
Right? They didn't have the pies then, but they had something else. But that's why Lord Krishna has spoken in that kind of a language where the essence does not change. He did not say eat this and don't eat that.
Yes.
He is letting us decide what to eat, what not to eat. But he says, if you eat this kind of a food, it will be tamasic.
Got it.
Right?
Thank you so much.
Now we can see what is available to us. And what is the effect of the food in my mind? Okay. And it's not just only the food. Then he talks about the prayers also. He talks about the austerity also. He talks about the charity also. Because these are the things we do. Even he says, even the wise people do this. Because of, by living like this, we attain the ultimate. We keep on cleaning ourselves. See, the old impressions need to be cleansed. Maybe we have a habit of eating Rajasic food. Some of the sanskaras are Rajasic food. But when we watch, we are very watchful of it. We can erase those also with the help of the knowledge.
I see. Hersh, how do you determine how does the food affect your mind?
Okay, if you eat something and you feel lazy,
Okay.
or you feel very aggressive,
Mm.
foods do have that
Well,
kind of a power over you. You feel sleepy after certain foods.
that's true.
Okay, we got to see what's happening inside. See, most of the time we pay attention what's happening outside.
True.
Even outside also, we are more interested in what is happening in somebody else's mind. We got to turn it inward and see what is happening in me,
In our mind.
in my body also. The whole journey is my journey. I should see that what is happening in me. I ate this. How do I really feel?
Mhm.
Lighter the food, you will feel light. There won't be a heaviness in your body or heaviness in your mind.
Right.
That's why they say in the chakras also, they associate the lower chakras with the meat. The denser food, it takes a long time to digest. Then they say that up to when you come into the heart center, it's more like a vegetables. The effect of that, the more vegetables we eat, easier to move the energy here.
Mm.
But then when we eat only fruits, then we move up here.
Mm.
Very easy to digest the fruits. We don't even have to cook them. That's why, what did we learn in Ramayana? What did Lord Ram eat for 14 years? Fruits and the berries. Lighter the food, the lighter we feel. Okay, it's less burden on our body. That's why, don't I always tell you that half of your intake should be every day uncooked. That could be raw vegetables, fruits, of course, raw, they are always raw, and nuts. You can get protein also. Some people say, oh, where are you going to get the protein? Where are you going to get this? There's plenty of protein on all of this. All kinds of minerals are there. All kinds of vitamins are there. Okay. So half of our intake. So we should see all day long, what do we eat? That automatically reduces the time spent in the kitchen also.
Yes.
And then more time we have for sadhana too. And easier on our body also. I mean, that's my personal experience too and recommendation too.
This is all very, very good information, Hersh.
Yeah, that's what I think of that. And we are lucky to be living in an age where all this is available in plenty, right?
Yes, yes.
And affordable too.
Yes. Very
I mean, fresh fruits are available all throughout the year. Any kind of a fruit. So we really don't have to think much these days. Think about the past generations.
Or think about some places where still today they don't get.
Yeah, exactly. But we just overcook, overspice, overfry, and then we keep it in the fridge or in the freezers. We really destroy the food. And that's why when we eat that kind of a food, we don't feel
so
satisfied. Substantial really means that you eat a little and you feel satisfied. Okay?
So much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Guruji,
Yes, Randa.
I wanted to mention that sometimes you could be in a tamasic state of mind and eat sattvic food, and it could end up hurting you. Like we know some people in the past that has happened where it's created death by their state of mind,
Yes.
obsessing. I just wanted to mention that too.
Yeah, we got to use our judgment. What are we eating? Yes. And if something has happened, she's mentioning about, Randa is mentioning about that student who used to come over here. She went to somewhere else for some retreat and ate the greens. And those were poisoned greens. And people kept telling her, go to the hospital. She did not go to the hospital in time. So from the poison, she died. So, but greens, she would eat only greens. And she'll pluck the greens from outside and just eat them. She was a big on the raw food. So we should know that when we need help, the poison is being built up inside us. Yeah, medical help is needed. Take the help. Okay. So, anybody else? Any question, comment? So you all understand now that next week we will have a class at the same time. But a week after, we'll have the class at 10:30. Okay, so 10:30 to 11:30. So there will be only 2 classes after next week. Little kids class at 10 o'clock and then 10:30 this class. Okay. It will be continuation of it. I mean, I see that sometimes kids like Sonal, she likes to attend this class too. Right, Soma? Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes she understands.
That's okay. That's how it happens. She really reminds me of when I was little. My father, Guruji, he used to teach Gita in the morning to he was a principal in a college, and the professors used to come and he'll sit and teach Bhagavad Gita, and I'll sit in the corner and keep on listening. I'm sure I did not understand much at that time, but it felt good. It felt really good.
Yeah.
So the understanding comes with the time, but it feels good. So she is in the class, so it shows that she has that kind of an inclination.
Yeah,
These are the sanskaras. That's how we know that what kind of a sanskaras the child has brought. Okay, but the time comes, then she will bloom.
Yeah. She just listens to your voice. That's it.
Sonal, show everybody that Ram Mandir you made. You did such a good job. You have it with you. Show all these people else.
Happiness.
Yeah, I asked them this class to make a Ram Mandir and color it. Look at that.
Ooh, wow.
The Ram Mandir. Isn't that beautiful?
That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, because I thought it was a good week for these kids to just get into that kind of inspiration. So she did a very beautiful job.
That's so gorgeous.
So next week they're gonna draw a cow. I said cow is a sacred animal. Cow gives us milk, and milk is so important to all of us.
Yes.
So she's gonna make a cow. I know that.
Uh-huh.
She takes all the assignments very seriously. Remembers all the mantras and.
Wow, she's a special soul.
Yeah, no, you can tell. I mean, she's only 6. She just turned 6.
Wow.
Like a couple of months ago. So. She's a lot. She is ahead of even us, you know. So very proud of her.
Beautiful.
So anyway,
Thank you, Hershji.
Yeah. No,
Thank you, Guruji. I love you. And good
I love
job,
you too,
little
Randa.
girl.
Take
She's gonna
care.
take
So
your
I'll see you
spot.
guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you so much.